Good morning, world. While jealousy does not necessarily mean that abuse is coming, there are some red flags of abusive behaviors or red flags of a potentially abusive relationship that can kind of hide behind jealousy, where it makes it sometimes you think it's jealousy, but it really is a warning sign or a red flag of a potentially abusive situation. And that's what we're talking about. Five abuse red flags that hide behind jealousy. One being controlling action and movement, where the person insists on being a part of every decision you make, as far as where you go, who you're with. Your mom wants to go to dinner, but because he or she cannot be there, therefore you cannot go to dinner with your mom. Everywhere you want to go, the person wants to be the one to decide, okay, is this an appropriate, or am I okay with you going there? When you start getting into those situations, there are definite red flags, things that you should be looking at, dictating who you're with, where you go, and when you go, if you're allowed to go, if they can't go, those types of things. Monitoring every activity. This includes things like looking at your odometer to see, okay, if work is 15.72 miles, why did you drive 15.73 miles? Or if your phone bill comes, they're looking at who you called, how many text messages who you sent messages to, how often you were how many times you talked to a person, how long you were on the phone. Those little things that at first, or when it happens, the person could look like, yeah, it's just a jealousy thing, but sometimes those can be red flags of a potentially worse situation. Constant accusations. That often happens when the person does not necessarily have a set something. They don't know that you did something, but they believe, and they're so obsessive in their head that you've done something, so they start accusing you of doing things. And a lot of times it's a way of getting you to tell on yourself. But that constant accusation is a warning sign. It's something that abusers often do, where they're always accusing the abused of doing things. It can look like, yeah, he's jealous or she's jealous, but keep an eye on that kind of stuff. Guilt and shaming. That is when the person makes you feel that all these awful things that they are doing, you're the reason that they have to look at your odometer every time you come back. You're the reason that they have to sit there and go through your phone bill or go through your phone log to see who you called and how long you were on the phone, because you can't be trusted to just not talk to the people they tell you not to talk to, because you're doing it's something about you that is costing them all the time, effort, and energy that they are putting into keeping tabs on you. They make you feel bad about it. They make you feel less than an adult, because if you weren't doing those bad things that they think you're doing, they wouldn't have to do all these things that they do to keep you from doing the things that they think you're doing. And finally, angry outbursts. Those people recognize a little bit more, but sometimes it can be sometimes the person can just seem to be throwing a fit because of jealousy. But you need to keep an eye on that, because sometimes these little fits can be warning signs of something much bigger. Maybe today she just grabs or he just pulls, but what happens next week? Are these little tantrums things that can, or do you notice that if you are paying attention, you will notice if they start escalating into bigger situations? So these are things that you definitely need to be keeping your eye on, because yes, it may look like, yeah, he's jealous or she's the jealous type, but it could also be a warning sign of more that could come. Quick recap. 1, controlling your action and your movement, deciding who you talk to, when you talk to them, and all that kind of stuff. Over monitoring every activity, keeping track of your call logs, how long if you were you on the phone for 3 minutes 32 seconds and 0.6, I don't know what the other, or did you drive an extra 1/10 of a mile today? So and why exactly were you driving an extra 1/10 of a mile? constant accusations because they don't have anything concrete. They accuse you of doing everything under the sun, waiting for you to confess or for them to catch you in one of them. Guilt and shaming, making it seem like it's your fault that they have to invest all this energy, because you know they have a lot better things to do than just sitting there going through your phone and going through your purse or smelling your clothes. Because if you weren't doing all this stuff, they wouldn't have to waste all that time doing all these things, keeping track of you. And angry outbursts, they can look innocent, they can look like tantrums, but you need to be very mindful and keep track of them, because sometimes they can start escalating, and you need to be paying attention to if they are getting worse, or if they are getting past the, hey, he's just throwing a fit, or she's just being emotional, or whatever it is, to, hey, I might need to start, putting together a safety plan. And yep, that's pretty much it for today. Good morning, world. Have a great day.